Well, hi there, it's Brooke, and today I have a Target tiered tray for you, and I'm just gonna do one tray. So as I was looking on Pinterest and Instagram, there was tons of that tray that's shaped just like my black mesh one, I like to call it, but instead of these trays, it was the galvanized metal, which was one of their first or second runs of the trays. My store rarely had any in those beginning days, how many years ago was that? My friend did have that tray, and she decorated it for a while until she picked up a different one. But I figured anything on that tray I can kind of recreate on this tray, so I picked out 4 pictures, all spring kind of themed, and I'm gonna recreate the tray. So I'm gonna do like I did last time with my inspo pick. I'll just put it down while we're decorating the tray, and I hope you enjoy. So let's get to tiered traying. For the first tray, it has 2 Rae-Dunn salt and pepper little not canisters. There's a special name for them, but I can't think of it right now. And they have them on the top shelf, but these are the only salt and pepper ones I have. They're kind of like the knockoff Hearth and Hand ones. These are from Dollar General. It's a pepper well and a salt well. So the little wells, I guess. And mine are not going to fit up here. They're just slightly too wide. So instead, I put mine down here at the bottom, and then I noticed that it had 2 little scoops on there, kind of like I used in my coffee bar. I also have these little spoons I thought would look nice, so I just set those on top. And then the sign, if you look way down on the bottom with the carrots, says bloom on it, and I do have a bloom sign, so I kind of flip-flop the sign and the sugar with the salt and pepper wells. So I'm gonna put the sign up here, and then it also uses one of those birds from Target a long time ago. So I just put that up here with the bloom sign. So then they had just some lamb's ear on the tray, so I put some lamb's ear up here by my little bird, and then I also put some lamb's ear over here to kind of balance it out on the other side of the tray. So here is my very first super simple spring tiered tray. It's very neutral. You could use this all throughout spring and summer, I think. If you wanted to keep it out for Christmas, the whole entire year, you could just change this to a gather sign or something. Or if you had a family one, you could easily keep that up year round. And then if you wanted to have this setting somewhere in your kitchen where they're these have actual salt and pepper in them and you use them and everything like that. So for the second one, the tray had those little creamer and sugar, little bitty pictures that they had. Same time those birds came out, they had them in the same color as all the birds. I did not pick any of those up, but I do have the measuring cups that are down on the bottom. Well, not the exact ones. I have the homestyle ones from Magnolia, and I kind of stacked them up here. I just have some paper between them and things like that. There we go. Now I can get that in there. So they just have these kind of positioned on one side, and then they have a greenery ball on the other. So I just use one of my Kirkland's moss greenery balls. You could use any greenery ball. If you don't have a big one, you could use just 2 or 3 of the smaller ones or something like that. And then up on the top, it looks like they have kind of a terracotta pot or a dark brown pot, which I thought about distressing this, kind of aging it with brown, or I have some white ones, but I just didn't get around to it. So we're just gonna go with the terracotta color today. And then I grabbed my biggest kind of boxwood pick, because that one's a pretty tall one that they have in the picture, and I just wanted it to fill in as nice as it could. Instead of the baby creamer and sugar, I just have this little creamer pitcher from Hobby Lobby. They have it back again this year, I did see. And then to kind of bring in just a little bit of that wood element, the wood that's on the sugar jar, I grabbed my little mini cutting board from Hobby Lobby. Usually just the plain ones are in the fall, or I think the fall one had pumpkins and stuff, so you might have to get the plain ones in the spring. The Easter had Easter things on them, but if it was something real little, you probably couldn't even see it anyways. Or if you happen to grab those mini charcuterie boards that I kind of showed in one of my vlogs from Target, you could easily use one of those in here. I just happen to have this, so that's what I grabbed to bring in that extra little bit of wood. So another super simple spring tray. So for the third tray, they have those like white measuring cups again. I think they're exactly the same. I decided to use my black Raydon measuring cups since I already used the white ones on my other tray. And then they kind of have a blue and gray and white theme. I don't have any like blue or gray little napkins like the little towel they had in the back. So I do have black and white checked ones, so I decided to use those and then decided to use my black and white beads, and then I also thought that looked better with my black measuring cups. This one I did improvise a little. I do have that bird. It's the same color bird that I just used on the previous tray, so I did grab my white bird to use instead, and then instead of those little like, I think they're probably salt and pepper shakers and that like roll of ribbon up there, I used a different Raydon piece. So let's get into my tray. I stacked my measuring cups over here on this side. I think that's where they have theirs too. I got a little bit of like foam in between them, trying to separate them as much as I possibly could. And then I took my little white bird. I did set it on a wood slice just to give it a little height because of the greenery and the fact that I wanted to put this around it. So they have theirs like all draped in front. Mine is too short to do that. I do have a really long black and white one, but it's like really long, and I just thought that would be just too much for this tray. So then I opted just for this little one with the house that you can find at Hobby Lobby. And then as I said before, the towel I have is a black and white check. It's just like a felt napkin more than a towel is what it technically is, and I got them off of Etsy. So I just sat that here in the back. Up on the top then I decided to use my little sugar Raydon. I thought that just went well. And then instead of those two like salt and pepper little masons with the handle, I just used my other towel. I just thought that would fit really well. And I did prop up my sugar canister with one of my slices here just because it, like when you're looking at it, it just felt too low, and you can kind of see it but not enough where it's gonna like bother me or anything. So also on the inspiration pick they had a little wood spoon, so I just grabbed the two that I used on the pepper and salt wells is a 3-pack, and that's just the other one. So then they have like just greenery stuck in through here, and that greenery is really pretty. I've never seen that greenery before, so I just decided to use my little eucalyptus picks, and I just stuck them where I thought they would look the nicest. So let's see if I can recreate how I had it. This did take me a while. They have some through there, and that was just a little too busy for me, so I decided not to do that, and I just stuck with this a little one in the back here behind the bird. If I would have had greenery like theirs where I think it just was like a little smaller, it might have worked better, but for what I was doing, it was not working. And then I have a few more I'm just gonna pop up here, and then I kind of stuck this other one in here, so then it's kind of like behind the leaves or the spoon a little bit, so you get a little bit of the green and the spoon and the napkin here. And so there is my super simple kitchen kind of spring tray, right? This is also a good everyday tray kind of again. There's nothing really on here that's screaming spring other than it's just simple and fresh and neutral. So for the fourth and final tray, I kind of had to go on a hunt. I had those first 3 and they were good, but I just wanted to put one more in here. I thought they were so simple and short that I just thought it'd be better to do 4 for you. So the fourth one I found is this little like welcome tray. And of course I did have my little hearth and hand house because my little wood one, the medium one, doesn't fit on the bottom, so I couldn't use that. And then the pot I wanted to use, I didn't like the succulents I was putting in it, and so this one is very customized to what I like and what I had available. But I just thought it was so cute with that little pink gnome in the middle. It's like you can't even barely see him. He's like peeking out. I was like, he needs a riser, man, right? But it's just cute. So I did have a welcome sign. I did stick with the succulent theme, and then I incorporated the wood in the base of these succulents. These are just from Threshold long time ago I used to use them upstairs, and now they've just traveled down to the tiered tray stash. And then the gnomes I decided to use were my 2 white ones. I was going to use my blue one with the blue little mushroom, but then when I threw in these succulents, it just didn't go, so the white ones worked better. And then the house I am going to use is this black and white house from the Christmas last, like 2021 that I have, and that fits very nice down here on this bottom shelf. Let's fill in that bottom shelf, and I did keep it the same way. They have like a milk bucket, and that's the exact same milk bucket I have. It's just that one from, I got mine in the spring shop. It's not the itty bitty one, but it's like the next size up at Hobby Lobby. The taller succulent doesn't fit down on the bottom, so I really had no choice but to use this green one, but it didn't really matter to me. They looked good either spot. And then I just stuck this welcome sign over here, and I kind of angled it back so you could read it a little better through the tray or whatever. And then of course I stuck my other succulent on this side just so they would be opposite. And then I added my little gnomies over here, just kind of chilling, having a gnome meeting in their garden. And there's my gnome tiered tray. So this one took me the longest, but I almost think this one's the simplest. If I would have had my wood house, it probably would have went in a different direction. But that's what you got to think about with these inspiration picks. Like the groupings, you like the groupings and you have a few things that they have, but like mine, I was already using them. So what my suggestion is that you look at like the textures and the colors in there. So like I look at that pick, it had a welcome sign, it was white and black, it had the wood element, it had the succulent element. You know, I could have thrown in more pink if I wanted, if I had more colorful succulents, but this has happened to be what I had, so that's what I used. So that's what you can just kind of think about too. If you don't have a wood house, but you do have a white house, well then use wood in a different kind of element. You could have easily put a pot in here, a terracotta pot, that would have kind of given you that same like texture, like wood kind of color. You could have used wood spoons, you could have used like that wood cutting board. I mean, so you don't always have to use exactly what they have, but just kind of get the general idea and kind of what to put on it from the picture. So I hope that helps. Well, there was my 4 spring Target tiered trays, all using that black mesh tray I have with inspiration photos for the galvanized tray that looks like that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some inspiration. Sorry about my scratchy voice. I seem to be getting a cold every season this year. I got one in the fall. Winter wasn't too bad in spring, and then I'll probably get one again in summer because that's usually how I roll. So it is nice to be thinking spring and to getting all this fun and fresh out after doing my pretty pastels for Easter. That's probably why they're a little more neutral right now, but I will get into the fun colors of spring too, because you know I love color. As always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.